Hey everyone, and welcome to another Bitcoin bubble news. First, I want to talk about the daily period. Next, let's look at the microstructures. On the daily period, the only other thing I wanted to show you was the path for the short term bearish yellow wave count. Please don't think this is the end of the world, but I need to say it again. If we break below the low from August, it will still be seen as the first wave of four. See, this is kind of the road plan we've been following if I zoom out. From the low point on November 22nd, wave 1 was the rise, wave 2 was the fall, wave 3 was the rise, and wave 4 was the rise. Wave 4 could go a little lower in the orange support area, and then a fifth wave up is still possible. Yes, and would still be my first choice. But I have to say that if we break below the August low, it could lead to more negative views. But it will also depend on whether we can hold 43K, which is the 50% retracement. And what the RSI does at the time will determine if we can fill in a strong structure to the downside. Yes, it will be. It will depend on how the move down goes. We are going to take a close look. I'm not going to say for sure that there is a bear market if it happens, but it will mean that we are still adjusting, right? It would also make room for more. I need to warn you that I wouldn't do my job if I didn't do that. That's the point. Do not worry. To put it simply, it's important to know that we don't have a proven low in place. At this point, the low from August 5th is not a sure thing, but I wanted to let you know that the 43K level is important support if the yellow count is followed. The move from the low is corrective. It still works pretty well for waves 2 through 4. Fifth wave could still happen even if it goes a little lower. That's why I wanted to say that. If we look at the C wave going down, that circle C of Y of 4 in yellow. That's the 100% extension of the A wave down circle A. Also, that points to 45,670. That is a great place for wave C to go, which is pretty good because that is right in the middle of that support area. I would be worried if the 100% extension level was, say, placed down here. In that case, this, let's say, still bullish scenario would have a low chance of coming true or turning around. Even though it's not likely to happen, the positive count still stands. However, in this case, the short-term outlook is bearish, as long as we keep the backing. Actually, there's a good chance that it will still happen because the 100% extension goes to that level. But don't be too negative. In the short term, we do need to think about those short-term bearish setups that could happen and push the price into that support area. What's going on here? Basically, we had a dip on August 5th, and the rally from that low has been corrective. This means that at best, we can see a diagonal pattern to the upside here. It was the right choice to keep an eye on that because diagonals make us more cautious because they have a higher failure rate, which is also why I've been saying for weeks that the structure is very fragile. Also, get ready for another drop. It shouldn't come as a surprise if the yellow situation comes true. And just get ready for it, right? Even though it's not official yet, we need to get ready for it because of how things are set up. As you know, a plan doesn't mean that it will happen, but it does serve as a warning and make us very aware. Now, what is that negative setup? Before we go to the chart for the smaller period, we can see that. Just to tell you, I posted a video about Tornado today only on Twitter. On Twitter, you guys chose that. That has now been uploaded. And I put up a second one too, Tao. They haven't been put on YouTube yet. You can only get them on Twitter. You can find the links in the text. If you're interested in these coins, and I know a lot of you are, you can ask for them. What are those negative setups that you can see in the microstructures? Those of you who watched the other movies already know about these, so let's move down 5 waves. I did not want to pick that tool. We went down in 5 waves and then up in 3 waves. Another 5 wave drop, and then another 3 wave rise. And by that I mean that this yellow circle too might still be moving. In essence, we have 5 wave moves to the downside, 2 or 3 of them. That's not bullish. That at least makes me very wary. And it means there are a few bearish scenarios that could happen. So this is wave 1, which is a corrective rise. Wave 2 could then form a top. And wave 3 could break down here towards 56,680, maybe early next week. Now, this is what might happen. Some people ask me why I'm short-term gloomy. I'm just following these. There's just a setup. In other words, I'm not calling a drop into the 40K area. I tell you about the risk, all right? That's the difference. I don't seem like someone who is trying to say guess the markets. You don't think I act like I have a crystal ball, do you? That's right. This is skilled technical analysis. I give you levels of help and resistance. I teach and talk about how the market works, and there is a bearish setting that is easy to disprove. Okay, that's not something we know. Yes. The market changes all the time. We can spot trends, and one of them is that there are usually negative setups. It only lets you know about the danger and what would have to happen for these bearish setups to become useless. The market could easily go down. In essence, this means that it needs to break above the first resistance zone at $60,640, which can be easily tried again. That's why I showed you this path to the upside in the last video. I think we might be doing that. We might be on our way a little higher, we'll see. In essence, it means that as long as we stay below 60,640, there is a lot of pressure to go down, and the bears could act on the setting. Now, if we break above 60,640, circle 2 is less likely to happen, but wave 2 could still be bigger, as shown here with support at 63,430. So the price could be turned down again in this area of resistance, which would start a bigger third wave to the fall. These are the two situations that are bearish. Finally, a long-term break above 63,430 would make it less likely that the count will go down and the bulls would start to take control again. That's what it's all about. And you should be ready for these levels to break. If they do hold though, and we see 5 wave moves to the downside again, that's a sign that the third wave to the downside has begun, which could take us to the 40K area. That's pretty much what I'm going to watch tomorrow night. At the moment, it looks like we could go a little higher, but there is still a lot of room for another short-term rally into resistance, even with this bearish setting. That's the latest news about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the news. Please click like, comment, and subscribe if you did. Also, if you like the videos a lot, please check out the channel membership. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter for more posts.